Good morning. Future Doomlink here. You are currently watching Doing It Live with Doomlink Part 4. This is just a very quick introduction to say that the original live stream for this part messed up in the beginning. So I'm now going to cut to a point, probably about 10 seconds into the live stream, where it stopped shitting itself. I'll see you there. Alright, very good. Get a beverage ready. Just to give you a small update as to what I've been doing in my own time. I've been playing a lot of Zelda. So I was playing some original Ocarina of Time, then I got to the Water Temple and realized how much I hate the Water Temple and just lost all motivation to play. And then I went and played Four Swords Plus, which is the Japanese version of Four Swords Adventures, got through that, and then suddenly I could feel something coming on, like really coming on, like a bad virus. It was the desire to play Wind Waker again. I mean, that's been bubbling away at the surface for some time, but yeah, I'm doing it now. I'm playing Wind Waker again. And the European version, I will specify. Oops, pressing the wrong buttons again. Oh yeah, these things have been introduced. Oh my god, I was not expecting it to be quite that... Oh, something I absolutely need to get used to is the fact that I'm using a PlayStation 4 controller, and I do not have full control of my camera. This thing is much more flexible than I first thought. Of course, the original Sheikah stones, despite being described as stones, were able to bounce around and they would go boing, but this is a little bit too flexible for my liking. The Sheikah stone seems excited, as though it wants to tell you something. Ask the Sheikah stone for guidance. Find your own way without hints. I like how they phrase it that way, as if they're really trying to prompt you to maybe take responsibility for your own adventure. What was I saying before? Oh yeah, I was playing a lot of Wind Waker, been enjoying myself. To move on from that, just conversationally and indeed relating to the game that I'm playing now, I didn't mention it in the first part. It was very obvious. But of course the reason why we don't have proper camera controls here is because it's a 3DS game, which incidentally came out before the new 3DS XL, which came with its own frickin' directional nub, which was itself a truly terrible addition. I don't mean the concept of being able to, you know, use an object, we'll say, you know, a stick to control a camera. That's fine, you know, it's a bit of a 90s innovation, actually, to be able to use a second stick to move your camera, which rather eluded Nintendo for the release of the Nintendo 3DS, but the nub itself, to be clear, was absolutely terrible, and I experienced it firsthand. I'm just wondering if doing the backstep is actually helpful still, is it? Why do you look so ridiculous when you do this? There we go. Do you think that's faster? Probably. Not entirely sure. No, maybe we won't do that. Let's go across the bridge and return to Kakariko Village. We don't really need for it to be daytime. Well, in fact, with the graveyard, would we want it to be daytime? Potentially. Because I do know that the annoying child who yells at you when you interfere with the gravestones is usually there. Oh no, he's there during the day. Right, so we want to be there at night. I think being at night is actually better. Anyway, I'm jumping around a little bit. Just to cap off what I was saying before. Because there was no way for you to actually control the camera except potentially using the touchscreen, it does make sense that actually we've gone backwards to 1998 levels of 3D camera control. And I suppose I should specify not just 1998 standards, but Nintendo 64 standards, because of course the PlayStation 2 by the late 90s was... Well, actually, what year did the PlayStation 2 come out? I think that was... Strangely, I've got a mental blank. PlayStation 2 release date. It was 2000, right? So it wasn't quite 90s. I had a feeling that it was right on that threshold. But yes, I suppose 1998 standards of camera control. Anyway, back to the game. And what we are doing in the graveyard, incidentally, is several things. Now that we're here at nighttime, although you have to be very specific if you wanted to do one of the mini-games in here, you can't just turn up at night, you have to come at a very specific time of night, which I will go over in due course. But we've got a song to learn in here, we've got gravestones to pull, there is much to do. And in fact, if you were to have a magic bean, or perhaps even, well, forget the magic bean, if you had bugs in a bottle, you'd be able to get a gold skulltula from here, or skulltula. I do try to use the chula pronunciation in the same way that I would say tarantula, so skulltula. They actually wanted to have gyro camera be the default camera control outside of aiming/lock-on. Well, when you say they wanted to, was that an actual feature when playing on the 3DS? I only ask because that sounds absurd. I mean, imagine you're playing the game normally and you're having to physically move the 3DS in order to turn the camera. That's really stupid. Okay. If you look in the upper right, there is a 3DS icon, and you can look control the camera in all directions while holding lock-on. Okay. Well, I can't see what you describe. I'm potentially blind, but, I mean, I do see a view button, and then what? Oh, you mean, yes, I see that. But that's not, the sort of camera controls that I'm talking about, AJ. I'm talking about when you're in this mode, and then being able to move your camera. I suppose you would be using a free camera, that's what it would be called. It was free cam. Okay, well, gyro is enabled if you've got that icon. Still, are you saying that I'd be able to physically move my 3DS and then this perspective would move as a result? Because that sounds terrible. That sounds like an excellent way to get motion sickness, to be honest with you. So if you find a gravestone with flowers in front of it, usually that means you can pull it. I believe I'm correct in saying that. My hesitancy is only because I don't remember this being the gravestone, but I suppose we can try to employ my theory. There we go. Down we head. Down we head. Let's head on down. The chests look a little bit silly, particularly from a distance, but I will try to be sensible in my criticism of the game. I'm not going to start complaining about things like the way the chests look. That's going to become asinine very quickly. Okay, so when you say they wanted to have a gyro camera, you are saying it wasn't ultimately implemented, but it was the intention. I suspect the reason why it wasn't... What? Okay, apparently in this game... Or is that how it was in the original? No, perhaps that... No, it probably was like that in the original. I just always bought the Hylian shield. I never got it for free down here. I have to check that now, because that's bothering me. If so, that's quite funny, because... for me personally, as a person having played Ocarina of Time for a very long time, I always bought the shield from the Hyrule Castle Town Market. So if it were always free in the graveyard, that makes me a real goober. Let's find out. Find out, rather. Look it up, find out. Find up. Alright. Shields. Here we go. So... the first place that you find it is in the graveyard in Kakariko Village, with no mention of this information being specific to the 3DS version, which means I am a goober. That's alright, we've got the shield now, that's what's important. I'm not going to use it immediately because, of course, it has a specific function. It is not a perfect replacement to the Deku shield, because it is a little bit too big for Child Link. He will only be able to use it as a sort of, well... how do I describe it? He turns into a turtle, basically, or a tortoise. He can defend against things raining down from above, which will be relevant later, and I'll show you. But in the meantime, we will be using the Deku shield, because we can do this. We can actually hold it in front of us. Oh my god. I guess that's the closest we will come to camera control, everyone. Oh my god. Okay, so I do see that there's a gold skulltula up there, but unfortunately we can't actually access it. How do I look? I guess my only way to look forward is to actually hit the view button. But yes, we will need a boomerang in order to access that. We'll just have to remember it for next time. So I think we can play Zelda's Lullaby here. Are there any other gravestones to pull? I think there's one up here, isn't there? Although it is less clear which one it is. I think it might be this one for some reason. No, that's got a Poe in it. Alright. How about we pull them all? While we're being foolish. And... oh no, there we go. My second attempt was successful. Oh, we've got a redead in here. Just checking OBS to make sure everything's going smoothly. It seems to be. It seems to be. Alright, so redeads of course can either be attacked normally, or you can use the Sun Song to paralyze them. I never use the Sun Song to paralyze them, and the reason why is because it will only paralyze them for the first interaction. Once you've hit them a single time, they will no longer be frozen, unless that was changed in this version, but... well, let's do it. Let's open with a jump attack. And then after that, ideally you want to just keep swinging fast enough for them to not have the chance to scream. They will eventually despawn, at which point you tend to get a reward of sorts. Come on. No, not this time around. Is there anything in here? So there's no prompt for me to play Zelda's Lullaby or really anything else, so I don't think I'll bother. I'm just trying to think that in learning the Sung Song, is there any other prerequisite? Because I have a feeling that there is. I suspect we're going to find out in a moment. Oh, not that one. I think we want down for the Ocarina. There we go. Oh god, I have no idea how to play Zelda's Lullaby in the 3DS version. We're going to have to double check. Where do I go? Do I have to go to gear to see my songs? How about I show both screens while I go on this brief adventure through my menus? I really cannot even find the urge to be embarrassed that I neither know where to find the songs nor how to play the ones that should be as familiar to me as Zelda's Lullaby. I guess I could fuck around with the buttons and then just make it work. Where are the songs written? Or detailed, rather. Because everything else that I'm seeing here is actually a button to use an item, so... you push a button while the ocarina is out. Well, is there even a prompt for that? Oh, there is. Yeah, see, there's a staff down here. Okay, very good. Zelda's Lullaby is XAY, XAY, which is just delightful. In fact, by the looks of it, you can play the music while this is up, because you will have noticed that I actually hit B to quit, and that pulled me completely out of the Ocarina playing mode. I was not expecting that. So literally, you can just have a cheat sheet right in front of you while you play the Ocarina. XAY. God, let me just remember how the buttons are situated. X. No. I think I might actually need a... I might actually need a Nintendo controller just to refer to. I mean, I think the reason why I'm so confused is because I go back and forth between so many controllers that it just blows my mind. Okay, X, A, Y. There we go. I'm just using my Wii U controller to assist. It's a bit special, I agree, but I just can't really get my head around it. Oh, sorry, I wasn't standing on the symbol. Sorry, that was really quite absurd of me. There we go. I was so distracted by the staff on the bottom screen that I hadn't noticed that a staff had not appeared on the top screen. So, there you are. Alright. Looked a bit like an intern was playing with the special effects there, but anyway. Because, do you know what I mean? Like, so they started off with, you know, this really big effect, and then lightning bolts came down. It feels like it should have been the other way around, but that's just me. It seemed a little bit unconvincing. Let's bring the top screen back to the fore. Royal Family's Tomb. If there is a prerequisite to actually getting through here, I will be discovering it shortly. I mean, unless it's Din's Fire. If it's fucking Din's Fire, I'm going to lose my mind. I might actually need bombs from Dodongo's Cavern in order to proceed. Or is that a red herring? I think it's a red herring, you know. I think all we need to do is kill all the keys in the room. This is a bit of a classic. This has confused me for most of my life, which is a bit sad to admit that it still trips me up even briefly these days. But get over here, please. I can kill you from a distance if I were so minded. There we go. And I might actually just start doing that. Goodbye. That feels very smooth. Oh, lovely. Okay, and we've got some recovery hearts. I was doing quite well in terms of hearts, but yes, as you can see, even though there are torches here that can't be lit at this stage, those just give us access to a chest. To actually proceed, we just need to kill all enemies in the room. And these redeads, I believe, are optional. If you would like to avoid them, I think you can, but we're not going to play it that way, are we? Okay, fine. Yeah, so the thrusts feel a little more effective. Now, I'm not sure if that's normal to be able to kill a redead that quickly. It doesn't feel normal. So either they're weaker here, or just doing the jump attack is more effective than I thought. I suppose my slightly lacking familiarity with Ocarina of Time, the original game, is causing trouble, isn't it? Because I'm always wondering if what I'm experiencing in the 3DS version has changed or not. It's probably better to assume that it hasn't changed, because otherwise I think I'll be in a constant state, a sort of permanent state of uncertainty, which is not ideal. Alright, so if we check, then I think we're prompted to use the Ocarina. Because there's a song scratched on the wall. The rising sun will eventually set. A newborn's life will fade. Well, that sounds a bit dark. From sun to moon, moon to sun, give peaceful rest to the living dead. Okay. This is an interesting poem, huh? Yeah, thanks for the observation, Navi. Everything that you say is totally worth listening to. YRA? As you can see, I'm becoming steadily familiar with the buttons again. As I suggested before, and I now say explicitly, I will make no apologies for having no earthly idea what the fuck I'm pressing while using a PlayStation controller. You've learnt the Sun song. Maybe there's a mod I can get. Oh my god. Okay. So, the Sun song and its use is something I have very temporarily forgotten. I think almost immediately after... I mean, I know what the Sun song does. I know precisely what it does. I just mean that when you have just learnt it in the graveyard, there is almost an immediate use, but I can't really remember what it is. I think it's... no, I think it's the... it might be that wall that we got to before, if you recall. I think it was this gravestone, wasn't it? I think if we pull this gravestone... Oh, for fuck's sake, there's that kid I was talking about. Don't cause trouble, I'll tell Dampe. You ain't gonna be telling anyone, kid. My blade would slice clean through your esophagus. You won't be speaking for the rest of your life, and we'll all benefit richly from it. Alright. So what I'll do is I will... Well, no, actually. I was about to say I'll leave the village and then wait for time to pass, but I needn't do so. In fact, the entire reason why it's now daytime is because we played the sun song. So let's do that again. So yeah, I'm just going to have to try to memorize the actual buttons. Because my familiarity with what button makes which sound is completely non-existent. Alright, let's make our way back up here. And ignoring the sculpture, because we can't do anything with it right now. I think it's this gravestone, isn't it? The one in front of... Well, no, I was about to say the one in front of soft soil, but indeed there are more than one of those. I shouldn't even bother with the rupee because I have maximum. Which I suppose should prompt me, really, to start collecting gold sculptures, because that's how I upgrade my wallet the first time. I don't know if it's 10 gold sculptures or 15, or... Well, I suppose it's never 15, is it? It would either be 10 or 20 will give me a wallet upgrade. Alright, what's happening with you, mate? You know what's really pissing me off? Putting myself on target. Let me explain. So if I had a button on my controller to allow me to look forward, that would work just fine. Well, I suppose... No, I can, actually. Use a button on my controller to look forward. And, yeah, I'm going to organize that for myself now. Instead of sitting here and complaining about it, I will organize it. Let me see. There we go. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I do not have to go and grab my mouse and click on the screen. I can just do this. Oh, now I can actually orient myself. Take that. Alright, let's play the sun song. I believe we can play it here and achieve something. I believe. If I'm completely wrong, then I don't want anyone to be surprised. Oh, I'm going to have a chest appear inside of me. I was going to say that normally what happens, you end up on top of the chest, but no, not this time. Not this time. God, the chest is gigantic. Aha, it's a piece of heart. Now you've collected 3 pieces. Only need 1 more. When is the next one going to be accessible? I'm not sure. Potentially I should really look into the sculptures, because I do want a wallet upgrade. That's going to be really bothersome if I get stuck at 99 rupees. What am I doing? I'm looking at how many sculpture tokens we have. We have 5. I'm going to double check right now to see if I get the wallet upgrade with 10, because getting 5 gold sculptures right now, I believe, is possible. As in an additional 5 more than what I currently have. So let me bring that up. As in, you know, by that I mean the information that will tell me what my rewards are. Okay, wallet. Here we go, adult's wallet. Can hold up 200 rupees. It is 10 gold sculptures. Well, that'll be easy to arrange. That will be very easy. Now, I haven't really made a record of which ones I've acquired, but I think I know which ones I have. I think I got the one in the guardhouse, didn't I? And I definitely got the one in the tree by Hyrule Castle. Excuse me. If it is nighttime, then there are a few in Kakariko Village that I can access, so let me get those now. You can still do the side jump off the tall ladder to get a heart piece early. Well, weirdly, I've been struggling to do that. As a kid, I never had an issue doing that, but nowadays I don't seem to be able to. Must just be some sort of extreme dysfunction of the mind, for which I cannot account. Alright, let's get the gold sculpture over here. I'm actually not going to make a record of how many I've picked up, because I have no intention of getting all of them. If you are minded to get 100 gold sculpture tokens, you would be an absolutely daft piece of work to neglect to mark. Like, create a list and make it very, very clear which ones you have acquired. Otherwise, it will be hell on earth to figure out which ones you have and haven't picked up. as time passes. Unless, of course, you're going to go real hard and 100% Ocarina of Time in the space of a few days, which some people do. I'm just not that hardcore. Alright, so I got the 2 in Kakariko Village. And I think there's another one as well. Okay, there is also one in the tree at the entrance, which I had completely forgotten about. If you had put a gun to my head and asked me if there were a gold sculpture in here... For fuck's sake, what are you doing? If you had put a gun to my head and asked me, I would have said no. But there's one here. Very good. So what are we on? 7 or 8? Well, it should be on 8, actually. So, there's also one on the ladder. Oh my god. We're going to get all 10. There's another 2 that we haven't acquired in here. Kakariko Village is an absolute gold sculpture haven. Let's go and kill the one up here. Whoops. Now, I was informed by AJ that I can invert my view, and I'm going to avail myself of that option immediately. Immediately. I need to change that. So apparently, and I'm going to open both screens for this because far be it from me to do this before I go live. We should be doing it during the recording. If I go to the save screen, and I may as well save while I do this. Continue. So when we go to the save screen, we have an options button. And here we go. So L targeting is hold, which is fine. I don't mind that. Camera control... Fuck me sideways. So camera control normal, inverted Y. Why does that... Oh, yeah, this is what I want, isn't it? Yeah. Inverted Y-axis. That's precisely what we want. Okay. Let's give it a try. Oh, my goodness. I feel whole again. Okay, let's go and get that last gold sculpture. I believe it is back here. Oh yes. Let's do the spin attack. The really silly looking spin attack. Well, I was hoping to be able to pick that up with my sword. It didn't happen. Alright, while the bottom screen is still visible, I will show you that we now have 10 gold sculpture tokens, or rather gold skull tokens. Fine. Here we are. And now that we have 10, we can get a wallet upgrade, which is very important to me. I'm very much a rupee hoarder, and I become manifestly irritable when I'm not able to collect any more rupees. It feels like the ultimate... what's the word? Waste. Feels like a waste. Alright, yes, I did kill 10 spiders, so I will approach the man who has been freed. There he is. Oh, the dance has definitely updated. He's gone from looking just happy, right? Which is how he looked in the original game. So normally I think they're doing like a cheer, like a bit of a banzai, you know. Now he has ingested some kind of psychedelic substance, so I mean I don't really know why we needed that sort of a dramatic change, but that's fine. The curse has been broken, thank you. Here's a reward for you. You got an adult's wallet. Alright. Now I don't need to be sitting in a corner biting my nails and shaking violently. It's alright, Doomlink, you can now continue to collect rupees. The reason AJ weirdly... Or is it... No, maybe there is an inverted x-axis when you're aiming. So inverted x-axis was definitely the case for camera controls when you're in this position. But I can't actually remember if it was inverted when you were aiming in games like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. But it was definitely inverted for other stuff. Navi, shut up. What would Saria say if we told her we're going to save Hyrule? Who knows? But what I can say is that I have already noticed that Navi interrupts you less. If Nintendo had failed to pick up on that criticism of Ocarina of Time in the course of the 20 years since this game had released, 20 years I say, well, I should remember that this was not 20 years old when this came out. But, yeah, if they had failed to pick that up, that would have been extremely sad. Oh no, I managed to, okay. Very good. I managed to get on the roof. I struggle to do that for some reason in one of the versions that I play. I mean, it's something you can apparently do in all versions, but for some reason the GameCube version that I have been playing, I can't actually get it done. Anyway, hello man. Hey, good to see you up here. I'll give you this as a memento. Here we go. Got a heart container. Good stuff. Alright, I am beginning to sense that it is now time. No, actually, should I? Let me control my thoughts and deliver them to you in a coherent fashion. I was going to wonder if we should now take on Death Mountain immediately, but then I considered whether or not I should try and get more Gold Skulltula tokens. The decision as to whether or not to do that is going to be determined by our reward at 20 tokens. So we'd be getting the Giant's Wallet at 30 tokens, which is not going to happen anytime soon, but I do want to be working towards that. So even though 20 tokens gives us the Shard of Agony, which used to be the Stone of Agony, I think we're going to take this opportunity while we are here and not in the dungeon to go and get a Gold Skulltula token. Can we access Lake Hylia yet? Yes, we can. We can access it. However, I've only got one empty bottle, so I'm going to have to get my bug on. Do you know what I mean? If you don't know what I mean, you're going to find out very shortly. I'm going to be getting my bug on. And it's a little awkward, actually. I should check all bug locations, because the only ones that I can think of right now are in the Kokiri Forest and in Hyrule Castle Town. So let me see if there are other bug locations that are closer. This is important. Ocarina of Time bug locations. Now, the reason why I'm looking for bugs is because you have several soft soil locations that when you put bugs into them, a Gold Skulltula will pop out. Bugs and fish. OOT randomizer. Well, I can understand why they're giving you that information on this website. Here we go. Bug locations. So, oh, there's one in Death Mountain Trail, however. Next to the Great Fairy Fountain, is that? That's quite far, actually. Isn't it? Great Fairy Fountain, Death Mountain. Yes, that's at the top of Death Mountain, so we don't want to go there. Goron City, don't really want to go all the way there. Graveyard, ah-ha-ha, there's one in the graveyard. And you were right, AJ, there is one in the graveyard. I just had to remind myself of that. I'm actually a little shocked to see there are bugs in the graveyard where there is in fact a soft soil location. Maybe some people would not be shocked by that. I'm a little shocked. It hasn't exactly changed my life, but it comes as a mild surprise, we'll put it that way. Can you remember when your fucking sword used to pick up the rupees? I miss those days. That was very traditional Zelda. It's what you wanted. And obviously, God forbid, that was the only way you could pick up rupees in the CDI games. Alright, so at the entrance to the graveyard. Now typically they're only found under rocks, and by typically I mean only found under rocks. Can we all just agree that I was not standing in front of this shrub? It was indeed this that I was attempting to pick up. Hold on. Whoops, I need to go to gear. No, items. I guess I need to equip this, so we'll equip it to that. Yes. Just fucking equip it. I wish you could see my face right now. Well, you can definitely see my face. What you can't see is how absolutely, undoubtedly absurd that entire situation just was. How could an empty bottle be so blue? Can someone tell me? I just need an explanation. And I certainly don't need any snarky remarks. I just need an explanation, an entirely scientific and logical one as to why, say for instance, the lid of the bottle is clear as it should be, but then as soon as I put a bug in it, the entire thing turns sky blue. I mean, what the fuck? In fact, I think as I empty this, you will... Okay. I guess it's just to indicate that something's in it, right? And there we are. Yeah. Screams the small child in green. Oh yeah, no, you're right. You are right that in the original you can actually recapture the bugs during the, or rather traditionally, yes, you can swing your bottle at bugs as they go into the soft soil. I sort of understand why they did that. I think it's because that was an oversight on their part. If that's the sort of thing that they would, excuse me, I would say that if they're going to change that sort of thing, they probably didn't intend for it in the original game. So, fixing their bugs, I think, is something that's... Get it? Fixing their bugs is something that's worth doing. It's when you introduce new bugs that I start to get the shits. Which I can think of for some remastered versions of games. I find that to be absolutely intolerable, personally. But maybe in some ways unavoidable. As soon as you open Pandora's box, sometimes you might allow new bugs to appear. So the other ones that I can think of are in... Well, there are two that I can think of. Gerudo, or like the entrance to the Gerudo Desert, and Lake Hylia. Let's see if there are any others. I would like to deal with these now. And then we will try to... Well, what I will say is that I'll contain it to this particular part of doing a live with Doomlink. And then we'll have the next part be going to Death Mountain and visiting Goron City, and then indeed, hopefully, beginning the second dungeon. Let's have a look. So, Gold Sculptures... Soft soil in Lake Hylia, Gerudo Valley. There's also one that we can just kill in Lake Hylia in general. And there's also one in Lost Woods. How about we go to the Lost Woods first? I don't have too much time to do this within a reasonable... Oh, I guess... Yeah, we're coming up to 40 minutes. Do you know what? Let's do a longer part. We're going to do a longer part than usual. Because I do want to confine this to one part if I can. Because Gold Sculpture gathering is not exactly the most riveting visual experience. So, best practice in my opinion would be to go to Kokiri Forest. Do you know what? Let's do a nice, quick reset. We're going to quit. And then press start. That'll take us straight back to Kokiri Forest. Here we are. This is indeed one of the benefits to always beginning in the Kokiri Forest. If you do want to come back here, it's better to reset than to manually make your way back. Alright. So what I can do here is put bugs in the soft soil and then gather more without much difficulty. Because indeed, there is a bug location within the Lost Woods. I am going to have to remind myself via the guide the exact route to get to the soft soil. It is left and then left again. I understand that that doesn't sound in any way complicated, but there are so many different places that you can go in the Lost Woods that I just wouldn't really remember that. I suppose we can learn Saria's song now, can't we? I believe so, yeah. Well, do you think it's worth going and doing that? Probably. Anyway, bugs. Bug time. Give me my bugs back. They're my bugs. What right does the game have to refuse me custody of my bugs? Should we give Saria's song a try? I think we can probably go and get it. Let's do it. While we're here. I'll try to remember the route. I think I can remember it. You can actually just listen for the music, but... Oh my god. Hey, hoo-hoo. Indeed. Hoo-hoo. You should listen for that tune. Do you want to hear what I said again? It's completely unacceptable that the first option is yes, to hear that again. That owl is the bane of my existence. And I'm certainly not the only one to feel that way about it. I do believe that I have remembered the route. You need to visualize it in your head as if the map is visible. See how the map is sort of like that? It's blank. So what you do is you visualize it as if it were filled in. And once you've done that, you'll remember the route without issue. That's basically the strategy. If you can hear some banging in the background, we do have the garbage disposal. Oh, I think these will go down when I kill this wolfo. I think we're okay. Some serious crashing and banging. Look, I would rather they disposed of our garbage than didn't interrupt my Let's Play.
What do you mean, Let's Play?
Well, doing it live with Doomlink is my version of a Let's Play, so... there you have it. I didn't even know there was Master Quest on the 3DS. And I certainly don't remember if the Lost Woods was flipped in the original Master Quest. I don't know if I'm ever going to play Master Quest on camera. I don't know if I'm willing to completely fucking tear my hair out on camera or not. Oh, hello. Yeah. Get out of here. Get out of here, mate. I think I have to swing my sword at you. There is absolutely no coming back from this altercation. There is no peace. There is only death. Death to Dekus. Get out of here. See how this fucking prompt on my screen is completely negatively affecting my experience and your experience simultaneously?
What would Saria say if we told her we're going to save Hyrule?
Quite literally, what would she say? What an absolutely scintillating thought. You know, the mere notion of it is enough to boggle the mind and leave me all agog. Oh, give it a rest. Get out of here. This is becoming a much longer recording than I initially intended, because I'm also getting Saria's song. Come on. I suppose, in the interest of being sensible, I will begin the next recording once we have acquired Saria's song. Oh, the original GameCube version is not mirrored. Okay. Well, I've only ever played the version that's on the GameCube disc, which I actually showed in part 1. Oi! I'm here. Are you ignoring me? I've been waiting for you, Link. I suppose that's probably not how she's talking. She had an exclamation mark on the end, which I suppose implies a bit of verve. This is the Sacred Forest Meadow. It's my secret place. I feel this place will become very important for both of us someday. This is where we'll be married. If you play the ocarina with me, I can teach you to talk with the spirits in the forest. Would you like to play the ocarina with me? Only if that's a metaphor. Okay, try to follow along with the melody I will play. Are you ready? Yeah, I'll do my best. Come on. This was not me pressing the wrong button. This was the game taking much too long to allow me to do my button inputs. So I actually pressed R, the game ignored it, and then I pressed Y, and then it thought I pressed Y first. This was not a mistake, okay? The only mistake was this video game. That was a harsh comment, wasn't it? Sorry. I didn't mean it. Great, great. Please don't forget this song, do you promise? Well, it's written in my menu. I would be hard-pressed to forget it. When you want to hear my voice... What? You can... oh, right. You can actually use it to talk with her from a distance. I had completely forgotten about that function, because I'd never done that until... or not since... maybe the first or second time I played this game. Oh, sparkly Ocarina. Weirdly, his face is different. His reaction is different in this version of the game, and what I mean by that is that there's normally a bit of wonderment. Here, because he's got gritted teeth, he actually looks a bit disturbed, or perhaps even disgusted by what he's seeing. I think that was the wrong call to give him gritted teeth there. You've learnt Saria's song, yes. Alright, you continue playing your music. Indeed, this entire location and this pad right here, that will be important later on. But we need the hookshot to get up there. And indeed, that symbol up there has great relevance also. I've got no idea, by the way, what happens if you get a little levitation mod and just walk in there as a child. Whether it's actually the whole dungeon, or if it just gives you some sort of error. I do not know. What I will do, however, is save the game and begin the next recording promptly. This has been Doing It Live with Doomlink. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye for now.